This is the control panel in the room. This turns the system on. To turn the system on, touch screen to begin. It's going to start turning on everything in the room. It'll tell you to please wait while it starts up. It's going through all of its motions, getting everything ready for you to start utilizing the system. Once this screen goes away, you'll notice that when the system fires up, it turns on all displays in the room. It also selects the PC in the cabinet as its initial source, and the audio for that cabinet is the initial source. So when you start off the room, you're on the PC, you're hearing the audio from the PC. If you want to make selections to change, document camera, wireless Novo connection, countertop HDMI, floor box HDMI, and we have a copy all function that'll take whatever is selected in the column above it will be copied to all locations. So with the rack, if we hit copy all, it'll copy everything across. Volume up and down for master volume in the room is here. Mute will mute all audio in the room. If you don't want every display on, you click on display controls and you have display 1, 2, and 3. You can turn these off as needed or on as needed. You can also mute the video. And for powering down the system, when you're done with it in the room, you select power down and you hit power down. You're confirming that you want to power this down. If you hit cancel, it takes you out of that window. The cancel button is for if you accidentally hit power down, we don't shut your room down all at once. So power down, everything in the room will shut off, audio will shut off, it resets the system and goes back to the start screen. So this number here is for the virtual panel. You'll open a browser, input this IP address. The IP address is different in every switcher, every room. The username is all lowercase user, U-S-E-R. The password is 1234. This gives you virtual access to the panel that controls the room. You can use your Surface, your phone, anything that you have a web browser on that can connect to that IP address. You'll be able to control the room from that.
Open up your web browser and in the address bar, type in the panel's IP address, located on the rack. This will take you to the Extron sign-in page. Enter the username and password and click Sign In. Now you should see this options page. Locate the section called Project Info and click Launch Extron Control. On the next page, click the blue box-shaped icon on the right. That will bring up the virtual panel, allowing you to operate the system from your Surface Pro, no matter where you are in the classroom space. There are two software apps that allow for virtual or wireless connectivity within the classroom, Collage and Novo Connect. To download them onto your Surface Pro, click the search button on your taskbar. Type in Company Portal and click Open App. It should automatically sign you in. Here in the search bar, type in Collage and click the icon that comes up. Next, click the Install button here and follow the installation prompts on your device. When you see a blue check mark appear, it means the app has been successfully installed and is now ready to use. Now we need to repeat this same process for the Novo Connect software. Here on the sidebar, click Apps and select the Novo Connect icon from the menu. Or if you don't see it, type NOVO into the search bar to locate it. Click on the icon and click Install.
So this is the Epson Interactive Video Projector. You have both touch mode, turn on, turn off touch here, and it comes with a pen mode. Touch is tracked by the laser Don't move the laser. The laser is in fixed point. It is calibrated to the image that's up here so that it can pick up your finger wherever you touch. The pins are tracked by a camera on the projector. If you stand too close, it won't pick up the pin because the camera can't see the pin. For annotation, you have several choices down across the bottom, different colors, different size pens. Do our Venn diagrams. The trash can deletes everything. There's also a forward and back. So you don't have to delete everything you did. The touch on this, the touch is activated by this button here. You'll see it says if the touch is off, there's a slash through the hand, so you know your touch isn't working. It still picks it up, but it's not going to annotate. If you turn that back on, you can change your colors and annotate anywhere as you please. The pens work exactly like the touch. They do the same thing. There's a button on the end right here. If you push that, it'll activate the pen so it wakes it up and tells the projector that it's operational. We can draw on that. You can use multiple colors . Two different pens, two different colors. The next option is for PC control. In this corner right here, it says PC interactivity. If you press that, we are now connected to the local PC that's in the rack. The projector that is closest as a crow flies to the rack is going to be the only projector in the room that has this capability. Come on, there we go. So we can bring up a web page. We can drive everything from the web page. The wireless keyboard and mouse that's attached to the PC is what you would utilize to type into these locations. You can also drive with a mouse, but if you're playing a video, bring it up on YouTube, whichever web page you want. You can control the video, pause, play, and you can close windows as well, utilizing the touch feature. The pen also does the same thing. On each wall-mounted projector, there's a home button in the corner. If you select the home button, it brings you to the local inputs. You have HDMI 1, which is the local system in the room. HDMI 3 is this projector's local wireless connection. This is to be used if you're in a collaborative mode. You have several students here wanting to connect and collaborate on one panel or one display. They would connect to the Novo Pro and join this, and that's how, and you would do that from the home screen on each projector. To return to the normal use of the room, you can hit home, select HDMI 1, you're back on the local PC in the rack or whatever source has been selected in the system. Or if you're running everything, you're bringing everybody in from collaborative groups and you need to bring the whole room back to what you're instructing on, you can do that from the teacher's panel or the virtual panel on the room surface. This is the ClearTouch interactive panel. You can turn this panel on by turning on the system, which turns on the entire room, or you can activate the panel individually by this button on the left-hand side. The panel has its own PC built in on the back side here. You can surf the internet, you can log into this PC, pull up all of your information just like you would any desktop PC in the district. You do have options on this PC. We have a PC connection, an HDMI 1 connection, and an Android connection. The Android connection gives you access to Collage, an internet browser, or Canvas if you can't log into the PC. HDMI 1 is the input that is being sent to the television from the AV system. Back on the PC, on all inputs, we have these side buttons here that gives you your own annotation. So we can circle things, mark things out, and then hit the X to clear those annotations. You can do that on any input. And these annotations are only local to this display. It will show up on other displays if you select the copy all function from the AV system, but you can only annotate from this location. You cannot go to another display and annotate and it show up here. This is the main display. Okay. On the PC, you can also do your Teams meetings. The camera above is a 4K webcam. We've already pulled up a Teams meeting here. This is the view from the camera. It catches the entire room. The microphone is built in here for your Teams meeting. It will capture the voice of somebody from the back of the room. On the panel, if you want to mute the panel or turn it off, hit the button on the left-hand side. It's a simple tap. The light will continue to flash red and blue. The panel remains on. Do not turn the panel completely off because you cannot update the PC overnight if the panel's turned all the way off. So if you need to turn off the panel, either turn it off using the AV system or push this button right here on the side.
This is the way that I've been using the pen in my class for a number of weeks now. I teach US history, so I use a lot of maps, and it's been really helpful for me to point things out to the students where something is, or if I'm really wanting to highlight something within the notes that I want my students to pay attention to, I can do all kinds of things to draw their attention to that. And then when I'm done, I just delete and then move on to the next slide. I want to be able to move between annotating on the slide and advancing the slide to include my animations or to advance completely to the next slide. So rather than walk over here and turn this on and then walk back over here and advance the slide, I can touch the toolbar and drag it to the side so that now I have the PC on and off and still can choose my animation colors from there. So if I have a situation where I want to still have the PowerPoint slide visible to my students, but I want to draw something else or write something else on a whiteboard, I can pull up a whiteboard and be able to draw, and at the same time still be able to advance my PowerPoint presentation at the same time. To get out of the split screen, I simply touch the whiteboard one more time. So if I wanted to have my students be actively involved in this particular portion of the lesson, I have the map of the Northwest Territory over here, but I could ask the students to come up and write down what are the 5 states that were created out of the Northwest Territory. So I could call on a student, they would come up, write down the name of the state. I could ask another student to come up, write down the name of another state, and continue on with the lesson that way. So if I want to zoom in on this map, I can hit the magnifying glass, hit the plus, and then I can drag my map so that it's where I want it. And we can show the details of the map or the photograph or whatever the document is that we want to show. So what we wanted to do here is to give a demonstration how a professor could use all of the technology in the room pretty much at the same time. So what we've done here is we've accessed our Canvas, the learning management system. I'm going to click into one of my classes and go to the lessons. One of the things that I like to have while I'm teaching is a copy of the lecture outline visible for students. And we can make this larger simply by zooming. And so for this particular section of the conversation, we're going to focus on the ways in which the African American civil rights movement inspired others. So zooming in on Betty Friedan and the feminine mystique, we can show a video with Betty Friedan describing her most famous book. And I can access
Feminist
it all
Betty Friedan is white
from
scientist, one of the leading figures.
the surface. If we want to continue the conversation with a PowerPoint presentation, we can access it on a third screen and have everything operating all at one time. So we can advance the slide. Or not. Yes. We can advance the slide. And then we have the opportunity to annotate. So if I want my students to really pay attention to one particular point within the PowerPoint, we have that opportunity.